Hello, cosmic quantum travelers. Here we go again. Who would have known? I didn't until a few hours ago. And I have literally been fighting with myself, my higher self, of doing this video today or in general ever. But especially today. So I'm actually quite nervous of what I'm going to talk about today. So bear with me. So it's taken me several hours fighting with myself of, do I really need to do this? And then it's like my higher self and God like, It's like, but please, I don't want to. It's like, yes, you need to. Because we stand in integrity. And I talked yesterday, who saw my video from yesterday, about that it's our gifts and our abilities who are here to really unlock the new realities and who are also the key to our abundance and freedom, because that's really our wealth. Our gifts, abilities, it's in our DNA, it's in our inheritance, So we are really here to claim our inheritance, and we're here to claim our worth by claiming our gifts and abilities and who we are when we remember. And many of us have had probably some memories of other lifetimes. I have had over the years, life regression, and then also my own memories coming back, and then different confirmations about, things I already knew for myself. And then as it goes, as we go on our path, we collect all these puzzle pieces, trying to make sense of our journey and what we're actually here to do, because it's connected to our mission and our purpose. And us standing in our mission and our purpose is exactly what all of this is about, because that's when everything opens up. This is when we align with our future self. So that's what I'm being shown, and that's why disclosure is who we are. So we are making it happen, and I'm going to lead this, or being shown that I have to do my part in bringing this into the field. And I feel what I'm sharing today is going to be a bit of it's going to cause a ripple effect, because it affects a much bigger story. And it's really about the Kryst lineage, and I know many of us have a big connection to that. Obviously, we're here to anchor Kryst consciousness, and what does it really mean? It really means also crystalline consciousness, more so than it being connected to who some people know as Jesus or Jeshua, however you like to call him, or what you believe. But he was more a symbol of what he was there to bring in. And many of us are here to do the same, which is safeguarding the 12-strand DNA genetic gene pool for humanity. So our ability to ascend. So he carried ascension codes. So that part of the story, relates to, from what we know. And obviously there are many different stories around this out there, of what people believe in. What the real story is. Obviously the church said he was never married, had no children. And then there are many other stories within the spiritual community as well that have different insights on what he was here for, if he was married, and so forth. So I'm going to speak a little bit about this, and also the actual importance of what he was here to bring and what we are bringing forth now, because it's all interconnected. Also to claim back our lineage and our because we are here to be the guardian for Earth and for humanity through carrying these codes. And it's not the imposters and, like the Pope or the Queen of England and so forth, who are literally imposters, and many others out there who have hijacked the whole Kryst story for their own purposes to manipulate timelines. So this is really, as I said, it's our time of rewards and recognition, but we also need to claim this from deep within. So we need to claim what we came here to do. So part of my activations is what I said before and shared. I am here to anchor the new coordinates for the collective consciousness to move to a new time-space coordinate within the omniverse. Okay, so it's literally a consciousness. And what the consciousness is about is the law of one consciousness. Okay, that's a representation of the unity consciousness. That's what it really is. It's, treat others like you want to be treated. Don't harm anyone. So, us claiming our worth, our gifts and ability is what unlocks our abundance and freedom, because it's also us accessing our power. How can we access our power if we are not believing in our gifts and abilities? So if we don't believe that we can make ascension happen, who's going to do it for us? Are the aliens going to come? I mean, we are the extraterrestrials here on Earth. And as we activate our extraterrestrial self, you have extraterrestrial contact. I mean, there's more to it. Again, this is all interconnected with many, many different moving pieces, all having to come together in a divine orchestration. Okay? So, our gifts and abilities and claiming who we are and our power is all the same thing. So me saying I can bring in these keys and codes because I carry ascension codes that you are more easily being able to pick up on is part of my gifts and abilities, which is why I'm bringing these activations forth and in for people to basically for ascension to happen more quickly. And because I also know I'm assembling them, and I know if I'm helping you, I'm also helping myself, because I understand the law of one, and that the more people are happy, the happier I will feel, because if one suffers, we all suffer to some level or another. That is the law of one. We are all interconnected. All life is interrelated, and it's one consciousness in the end. So this is also what the Christ lineage is here, and the Christ teachings that we are here to resurrect, are about, is to bring back these teachings, the law of one, and also the true history records for humanity, plus keeping the DNA alive, our potential, which we have, and also rehabilitation program for the fallen angelic races. So it's a whole undertaking, and again, there are many different parts to it, and I do not remember all of them yet. I am just like you, picking up bits and pieces and remembering more and more. But I know I need to share, first of all, because my higher self won't leave me alone, and I will literally explode. And second of all, as I'm also sharing the information with you, it activates you, it activates the whole field. It's me speaking my truth, even if I feel nervous about it, of it triggering someone or, something in the field. Because in the past I've been gaslit plenty of times about this. So anyway, us claiming this is us embodying it. So us embodying Christ consciousness is also equivalent to us activating the 12 strand DNA and beyond. So us indigo starseeds, we also have up to 24 to 48 DNA strand potential, which we're here to, again, reactivate, reclaim, reheal, reclear, retransmute. Okay, that's what we all do. And at this point, we all carry that DNA, which has been, so the mission about the Christ was, the way I see it, as I just explained, mainly about keeping the DNA alive, which I believe and remember that he was married to Mary Magdalene, and they did have children. It was 6, 1 died, so it was 5. And there are other timelines as well that correlate to the Christ lineage of keeping that DNA alive. So that's just one of them, really. But that's the one many of us correlate. And I was Sarah, I was the daughter of them in that timeline. And I remember that from many different instances, and there has also been many different confirmations of that. Now, why does this relate? Why do I even need to speak about that? First of all, it's speaking my truth. And second of all, also because it's important that we claim this now, because there are so many imposters out there who are claiming to be that or to speak for the Christ, which are doing it in vain, and who are distorting history and timelines. There is a big importance to the ones that remember that are here to carry these codes, because I also know, again, that I carry these ascension codes within my template, which again, through my work, makes it easier for other people to pick up on. And this is also the reason why I've been speaking about that Ascension is here. So why does she speak about this? Because I just know this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm bringing. So this is what I need to state to the field. And this doesn't come from any spiritual ego. People who know me for a while know this about me. I really don't, I've transcended that stuff, and I don't really care. For me, it's actually getting over the fear of triggering people of whatever triggers in them and being gaslit or whatever and attacked. Because in other timelines I've been killed, raped, and tortured for what I carry, like so many of us. So we're all carrying these codes to different degrees, but what my template is about, it carries that of all of the different tribes, and it's also a cosmic ascension template as I'm being shown. So it's basically, and I'm going to read out because Lisa Renee, that know her, and I share sometimes information from her website because it's like a dictionary, Ascension glossary. It's very good. As I said before, again, I don't agree with everything she writes. She also has another website, Energetic Synthesis, where she writes more weekly or monthly reports of what she sees. Now, again, I don't agree with everything, but her latest one was also in line with what I'm speaking about. So it's in the field. We need to speak about it. There's many purposes to it, also for you to feel confident in claiming who you are, okay? And this is not about, oh, I'm all this, because ultimately it doesn't matter who we were in another lifetime. What it matters is the connection to the gifts and abilities and what's my purpose and mission here. And I have to state that because it's me claiming my power and it's me activating those codes within me because I have to claim them. And it also activates something in you. So anyway, so she spoke about what the Kryst lineage is about and what it holds. You can look that up in her latest report. It was about the cathedral activations. So basically, I'm just going to read out a tiny little excerpt because it's just easier sometimes to read that because she's put it in a neater way. So the female Kryst lineage can give birth and bring forth the true Kryst-All's teachings and eternal life coding of the law of one. The war over timelines includes a war over authentic Kryst-All Sophia hierogamic identities, as all invading groups have generated their versions of the imposters for gaining strategic dominance in the Antichrist wars. Thus, the Kryst-All's mission is specifically involved in the reassembly and reclamation of the missing and hidden solar Kryst female lineages, the embodied Kryst-All Sophia lines, which are linked to the 13th solar dragon queen or the cosmic mother embodiment of the solar female Kryst, Mary Sophia. What it means is that also what she talks about is that the Kryst lineage goes through the women. It's the mitochondrial DNA that we're also here to heal, and that the lineage goes through, okay? And it's about fractals, okay? So other people, for example, might remember that many people remember they were Mary or, Mary Magdalene or maybe Sarah or whoever. And there are different fractal lines, but there's a core fractal. I do believe I'm the core fractal. I don't really care for, any title or, you know what I mean? As in anyone looking at that as something special. Besides that, it's important to understand that those who also carry these codes have to claim them. We're here to remember them because we need to claim that power back and our keys and codes by remembering from the imposters who are saying that they are us or, speaking for the Christ and these teachings. And there are reversals in them. Because what Mary and Joshua were about in these hierogamic unions is also, and what the lineage does, is bring together the polarities in balance through the Trinity. So they hold a lot of Trinity codings, which is the new energetic for the new grid system. So they carry that as an energetic. And they're also here to bring these teachings back of the law of one. But what I can really see, what I always knew, is that when I do my healing work, it's when I heal this within myself, I heal it within the whole human gene pool. When I activate something within me, happens for everyone. That's also when I ascend, we all ascend, all as in, to different places. But that's what I'm being shown. And all I can be is speak my truth. I don't need you to believe me. I don't really care for it. But it needed to be communicated for the reasons I just mentioned. And I've overcame a fear of speaking that truth, and I quantum leaped. And I know this activates something within my template, and it's also, again, connected to the activation of the 111222 Ascension portal activation that I'm bringing through for the Tuesday, for the 11th, that you might have seen. So I'm going to post this later on again as well. So I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, if there are any questions around this. I'm sure I've forgotten half of what I wanted to say. of, I guess it is what it is. Now, I wanted to also just come back to yesterday. What I said in yesterday's video was basically the, okay, one more thing about the value with the gifts and abilities. So when we know we carry these codes and we are here to make ascension happen, because another thing is with all these extra DNA strands, okay, as the indigos, is that we are literally here, it's in our DNA embedded, to birth new earth through us. Okay, our DNA is the film strip to our realities, and that's exactly what we're coded for. So when we remember what we're here to do, then we can really claim that power and, you know, cause positive effects on the consciousness, on the human field. Because I know through all of these activations, we have caused huge shifts in the field, in the timelines, in the frequency of the planet. And it's important that we really own this as well. Because when we really own that worth of how much that is worth making ascension happen, you can't equalize this, you know, you can't measure that with money, material gains. Because that's another thing I said yesterday about the gene key at the moment, ascension. The shadow is greed, and then aspiration is the gift, which would be shifting from the seeking of material gains over to the aspiration of more the spiritual. Because in the end, at the end of our life, what does it really matter? You know, how much money we have earned. Really, it's, you know, how much we've loved and how much of a difference we make to people. Because that's the important shift we now need to all see, is what is important in our lives. Are we just running after the money, or are we putting our spiritual growth at a higher value? And that's very important, because we're here to make that change. So understanding the value our spiritual work and gate work and grid work delivers. That's another thing. Through the codes I carry, I have full interdimensional Stargate access. This is why I can bring these activations through and anchor them for the planet and everyone. So once we know this, everything starts to make sense. And then we can really deepen into that purpose and the mission. And it's not about spiritual ego or pretending we are whatever. It's all about embodiment. I don't care who anyone was. You know, you can come back as a Hitler, and if you've redeemed yourself in this life, great. I'm all for you. So, you know, because ultimately we are all things, so it doesn't matter. But it also does matter, because the specific niche of our gifts and abilities is exactly what activates our template in our whole blueprint. That's all these multidimensional codes, us remembering again why we're here, what we're here to do. And again, we do this in many different ways. Many of us do this, you know, nobody knows about it. We just do it in silence, you know. And many of you who are listening have these really important, powerful codes. So it doesn't matter whether it's not 5,000 or 50,000 people listening to me. It's the ones who are listening that make the shift and that change everything that's important. So if it's just, you know, that's how I always go. It's like that one person or the 5 people or whoever. You know, don't underestimate your importance, your value and your worth. And that's the key right now to our ascension. That's why I'm speaking about this, okay? This is an activation for you, for me, for the whole field. Because I know it makes a difference, me speaking that truth, even if just 5 are listening, I don't care. It's speaking to the field. Every time I speak, I say this to my mom, speaking to the field when I speak to her and give her a hard time. So anyway, I hope it makes sense. So the video keeps cutting out. I don't know. I mean, we have a lot of solar energies. I had technical problems all the time. It looks okay from my side. We have radio emissions, alarm as well. I just see on my phone. So there's just a lot of solar energy going on, and AI is, you know, giving up, I think, to one degree or another. And yeah, so I just want to put in context also what I spoke about yesterday, and people are also wondering, why do I speak the way I speak? And, you know, it's just my cognition. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to hold that timeline. I know also from the Lemurian timelines that I can literally see from when the invasion happened and the fall of Atlantis, of holding the timeline of where we're jumping to now, of where the invasion didn't happen. And I've been holding it ever since then. And it doesn't matter how many months or weeks or years we literally speak about it. In the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. This has been going on for millions and billions of years. It's a grand undertaking, because this is not just about, as Manon, someone said earlier on in the comments underneath the other video, this is more than even just a quantum leap. What we're talking about is affecting all of the cosmic consciousness. Okay? This is all dimensions, all realities, the whole multiverse. It's everything. Because this planet and humanity is very special in what we carry. This is really cosmic ascension codes. And again, it's a reset of the cosmic consciousness. Because you need to resolve the problem at the core. You can't just get, it's like it's like when you have, in a big town, you have an area where all the drug addicts and homeless people hang out. And then the government might come in and want to move them to another area just to, out of sight, out of mind. Well, it's still there, the problem. You don't get rid of it just because you, remove some negative aliens to another planet or whatever. So this is also rehabilitation of their consciousness, because we're still one consciousness together. And we all have these codes because we've all been crossbreeding forever. So we've all had reptilian codes and everything like that. In order to rehabilitate and re-encrypt them, all the reversals within, for them, and then we also picked some things up we needed. So in the grand scheme of things, again, it's been a co-creation of the one consciousness. There are no victims here, because we need to get out of that. You cannot reclaim your full power if you think they have more power over us. It's just impossible. So once you understand, and that's where we're at now, once you fully know how powerful you are, your gifts and abilities, and that we're here to make ascension happen, we need to believe in it, for it to happen, literally, because it's our job here. That's what we came for. So once you understand, wow, how powerful are you? Creating new worlds, getting us out of an artificial matrix. You're like the superhero in the movie. Okay, but we're freeing ourselves and everyone along with us, because we're ultimately one planetary body and one consciousness. It's just everybody's playing their role, even the bad people, and we've all been bad to certain degrees in certain lifetimes, and in this one too, so forth. So, and the other thing is, if we don't stop judging the really bad people and understand with wisdom and compassion why people are the way they are, then we do end up, through the karmic laws, embodying that which we hate and judge. It really does work that way, to one degree or another. That's just what it is. Okay, and we're here to resolve this all now, because you're really merging and integrating with all. That's a great idea. We have to merge all the way back to source as one, to remember ourselves of who we truly are, in order to repair all the layers, all the different dimensional layers, heal the wall in time, okay, and heal all the cataclysmic events, because it's all interconnected through the quantum. So we need to heal all of it. Okay, so it's not just about 5D, it's beyond that. Okay. And as I said before, how you would imagine it, it's a little bit like the metaverse in an organic form, and it's like an organic creatrix field, but it's beyond this division of time and dimensions. Okay. And similar to a 7D existence as we would understand it, maybe. That's what I'm being shown. Okay. And I believe we have that opportunity now to, at the very least, get rid of the artificial inserts, holographic inserts, the false matrix, okay? Because there's an organic matrix beyond that. The organic timeline, the one true organic ascension timeline we should be on, we've been hijacked. Again, we can look at this for many different ways. We try to save a few more people, not save, but rehabilitate more of us, the one consciousness, the one, planetary body, re-encrypt and, and not waste. We don't waste. So we re-encrypt, and as somebody said as well, very fittingly, it's like reverse engineering. So they reversed things. So we talk about reversal. It's when you reverse, everything is upside down here. It's like just crazy. And we re-reverse. That's what we're here for. So we re-engineer in a way, okay? And that happens through the programming. So as we work through the programming, we re-encrypt the consciousness, if that makes sense. Because programs, equal belief systems, okay? And the artificial ones are based on limited fear-based belief systems. And that's one more thing I want to say about Ascension. Ultimately, what this is and is happening to many is you need to transcend all fear. And the main things here, which you have seen as themes going on collectively, which we've been working through, is fear of death, fear of illness, and, you know, just being able to survive, putting a roof over your head and food, bills, all of that stuff, okay? So basic survival fears. Not to mention all the other chakras, of course, as well, like, you know, sacral themes and the power themes of the solar plexus as well. But what I'm wanting to focus in on, what many people have been faced with on the Ascension journey, is that you literally have to lose all of your attachments to the material world. And we have to do this in order to ascend. These are part of the illusions. Like as I mentioned yesterday, I have been through many trials and tribulations where I'm now at a place where I could be on the street tomorrow and I would be fine with it, because I know I would always be okay, because I've been shown it again and again and again. But I needed to stay in the right vibrational frequency. If I am on the street and I don't believe in it, it's going to go downhill. If I stay in miracle vibe, it's going to be okay. I hope that makes sense, okay? Because you tune into the timelines that become available to you via your frequency. And all of the stuff happens, you know, if you feel somebody said underneath the YouTube video, they were full of anxiety and fear of, you know, literal survival fears. It's coming up in your system so you can purge it. You have to feel it to release it. All you have to do is transcend it. It's not about having no fear or pushing it away. It's about facing it, alchemizing and transcending it in whichever way you're shown. Okay, don't force it. But sometimes your higher self will just create situations that force you to face all your fears. And fears come in many different ways. You know, speaking your truth to your employer, speaking your truth here on video, every time I come on video, it's not comfortable to me. I'd much rather would have, you know, watched TV tonight, quite frankly. And but, you know, we listen to our guidance and higher intuition. And for me, it doesn't leave me alone. So, you know, but either we're driven by ego fears or we're driven by higher guidance, inspiration. You need to feel the difference. You know, one is very controlling, constricting, and it's kind of trauma-based. And the other one is very, you know, more freeing and expansive feeling. So always check, are you reacting from like a trauma response, fear response, or is this inspiration, you know, whatever you are deciding. But this is coming up because as part of Ascension, you literally need to transcend your fear of dying. And ultimately, if we understand that death is also part of the illusion, because ultimately your soul doesn't die. The consciousness always carries on, which I believe most of us would, you know, agree upon. So ultimately it's not real. It's just the body dies. And also, you know, as we heal our blueprints, they have much longer lasting capacity and stay young and all of that. Anyway, and then we're also able to choose where we incarnate into next, okay? And so forth, but we're not going to go into this. But what it ultimately is about, okay, so fear of disease, you know, that in itself, I mean, most illnesses are, you know, fear is a major cause for illness. And as I said yesterday, again, I believe they're all based on mental, emotional imbalances and inner conflict that isn't resolved. And it comes up within the body, so you get a warning sign, say, hi, I need attention. And then it's when already the body is healing itself. That's another thing. We need to really get in touch with our body and our own self-healing abilities. Fully activated light body, you would be able to grow your own, you know, organs again, teeth, and so forth. I do believe that's ultimately, you know, the highest form. So let's see what the steps are maybe in the middle. I do not know, okay? But ultimately, it's about us remembering again what we came here for and claiming our gifts and abilities, claiming that worth, because just that frequency, it's a frequency. It's not about you, you know, needing to proclaim it to anyone. It's a frequency ultimately that you send out that is like that of worth, that is that of now us knowing our time has come, because we are sending out the frequency and we are very strong. Us standing in our power and knowing that we are that powerful of saying this is our time now, and I'm also feeling it. It's not us just forcing it and, you know, pretending like law of attraction of, you know, I'm just manifesting this now out of an ego will. No, it's because we can feel it in the field. I'm saying all of this stuff because I can see in the field, and I've been part of the work of clearing all of this crap up, quite frankly, for years. So I know when we are done. All right. And I'm not saying this lightly. I'm putting my name and my neck on the line here. And I'm not, again, much easier to just write, or me saying I'm channeling, who knows what. And I would have many more followers and whatever, and just feed people what they want to hear. But that's not what I'm here for. So I'm here to speak my truth, whatever that means. I sometimes don't even understand the whole repercussions of what that actually means, but it's just the frequency of the truth that cuts through all the shit in the field. And the more that you know on how powerful every word, thought, belief, feeling, action is, the more powerful your effect becomes. So I know I'm creating ripples in the time-space continuum constantly. And, depending on what happens through the activations, through a video like this or other things, I know the ripples it creates, and I'm just getting a little sense of it. And this is not from ego. This is about encouraging you to understand, or making you see that this is how powerful we are. But we have to claim it and believe it. Okay? It's not someone coming from outside doing it for us. We came to make it happen. We are our own heroes. Okay? But we need to remember and claim it. So the things I've seen, just a quick recap, and we had half an hour, let's see, then I'll not make it too long today, was just that I didn't read out the notes yesterday of what I've been seeing happening over the last week, so I'm just going to quickly do this because I did want to share them, okay? And I can't write much in the moment, at the moment anyway. So on Wednesday, really the message that came up, which was the 5th, after that whole reset on the Schumann resonance, the 33-hour blackout, but again, I also got the message even before I saw this, that there was a cosmic consciousness reset going on, like cosmic whiteout, okay? So really a reset of the consciousness and then reconnecting us to the God source consciousness. And this is another thing, we're reconnecting to source, away from the phantom matrix, feeding those fallen realities now are loose to these negative entities, and reconnecting back to source. But we also need to do it through our own, sovereign energy field and cutting off the vampires and so forth. But ultimately, we are reconnecting to source as a human collective. Because you see, and there's another thing, we hold the shield together. So it's not about, we don't need the numbers. A few of us, okay, with the right codings and keys, do this on behalf of because we carry the keys and we are connected to all of these soul groups. And as enough of us are activating now fully their DNA in light bodies, this activates the planetary light body and the DNA within the human race. And this has cosmic-wide implications because we have been seeded by all these alien races. As we heal, we also heal them because we all have, we're all here to pick up some new codings. We're getting like a, return to innocence, but with upgrades and some very important lessons learned. So, and there's always an expansion that will happen, yeah? But just not under these dire circumstances. We have enough of bullying and being forced and raped and all of these things. So, yeah. So today also, and I think this is another reason why I had to do this today, the alignment with Hunabku, the galactic center, so the galactic butterfly as the Mayans call it. So that's really 0-point energy. So really tune into that. That is the unity consciousness grid current, which is the 0-point field, which is the polarities balanced out through divine love and neutrality. Okay, all three exist without friction in that space of the 0 point. And this is where we collapse and create all new worlds. We don't do this from being emotionally triggered right, left, and center. Okay, we have to transcend that. But then we go to the next stage where we totally claim that we can create these new timelines. Again, all in alignment with the law of one. This is not about ego will and playing little gods here. Okay, yes, we are God embodied, but this is a co-creation as one. So we need to learn how to do this again. But we're remembering, okay? And that comes through the activations in our DNA. This unlocks, this is another thing. So the 12 DNA strands stand also for the 12 tribes, okay? So these would be the 12 master races galactically that have seeded us. And there's more to it, okay? But just as a basic, all right? And this also correlates to each DNA strand. As we know, there are 12 rays, okay, so color rays. As some of us maybe know, these color rays all have attributes. So for example, the threefold flame, which is the core three colors, also when we know from color mixing, is the, well, as in the highest, from a spiritual perspective, the right color would be magenta pink, the blue, the aqua blue, and the golden yellow. But it's also, well, that's for me the three, founder rays. Okay, so it's, as we sometimes know, the threefold flame, you have the blue, the pink, and the yellow, and together, okay, and this is where all the other colors come from, and this stands for love, power, and wisdom. Okay, so these are the emanations, so the main attributes to these colors, where all the other colors and attributes come from. So each of the DNA strands has a color, also has tones, okay, because physical matter is made up of sound and color before it materializes into form. And this is what is being corrected, because we have not the right colors and sound. Okay, it's been manipulated. So this is what's coming in, the corrected colors. And the correlation with the 12 is basically, so from the three, which is the Holy Trinity also, okay, the tri-wave, which is the 0 point, which is the unity current. I hope this all makes sense, because I'm connecting these pieces to relation it all has, because it's all related, okay? And I'm trying to make it more understandable maybe. So these 12 DNA strands relate to the 12 rays, and also to the 12 tribes and the 12 galactic races that sealed us. And they then also relate to certain attributes that these different tribes carry. And these make up the virtues, okay? These make up the Christic consciousness virtues that we are then here to embody, which is being activated, but we also need to work on it, as we know, by doing the work and clearing out the reversals and lower codings and so forth that we ended up with. And as we do this on behalf of all the tribes, okay? Of all the soul groups, if you want to call it, that we are connected to. And this also then connects back up to the galactic races, because again, this is not the higher, dimensional beings, which are us, our higher identities, that they are all clued in and have got everything figured out. No, we're all learning here, we're all expanding, we're all healing. We're all, and this is why Earth is so important, because we're carrying all these codes. It's like a master race, golden race, as some call it. And it is, it's like the Edenic blueprint as well. We are resurrecting again the golden timelines, the golden DNA. It's within us. You can call it many names. I don't get hung up on, how we call this, because many people have many different descriptions for it. But I hope that made sense. Yeah, the overlays are being removed. This is all dissolving. I'm telling you, we are so close to done. Like we have taken over. There's, we have won. It's just the cleanup, and there will be a magic moment when it becomes visible. Okay, and I also believe disclosure is simultaneously to the awakening. It's all the same, because what I tried to say yesterday, if we don't need people on the streets writing, I don't mean it like, yes, of course I want people to stand up and, go to protests or whatever, if they feel called to that, okay? Claiming their power. What I mean is, if they would find out, as it is right this moment, that, satanic ritual abuse and the stuff has been going on, they would be killing people and dragging them out of houses, and that's not a solution, okay? So we need to be at a higher consciousness. Whenever I am giving more information, disclosed, unlocked from within me, I am consciously able and at the right level to access that information. The more compassion I have developed, the more awful things have been shown of how much interference there has been and all the distortions and all the different layers. But I can only do that from that place of compassion. Otherwise, there's something called Ascension madness. I've seen it. I've looked at it couple of times, all right? And that is a real thing. So we're trying to do this without a psychological fallout, which is happening through the activation in the grids and the crystalline DNA, which is bringing the new consciousness online by us embodying it. And I spoke about that yesterday, so I'm not going to do any more of that. So I'm just going to finish this, and I've made posts of, the New Year's activation that we did and the feedback there, so I'm not repeating that, and also from the solstice. So there's been a lot happening. So if you want to know, go back on my posts or videos as well, because there's so much information that's all still mostly relevant. So basically, as I said, I could see the crystal avatar Lightbody, plasma Lightbody, as I call it. I sometimes use different names. I play with it a bit, okay? But it's a crystalline plasma Lightbody, and I can see it being radiant online. This is why I'm bringing in the activation. And as enough of us are activating this, not just the ones who take part in my activation, of course, they're coming in. You know, you don't need to do that in order to, you know, be able to access this. But it's like together we just amplify it so much, bringing all these codes together with the intention and the focus. And I know I hold a lot of frequency and I can bring a lot of power in. So it just gets really amplified if we do it together. That's the main thing, okay? So amplified and focus, and you know, every time we you know, clear more and we activate more, and we are able to hold more frequency, and that also for the planet. So, and as we do this together, it just amplifies the effects than me just doing it on my own, other people doing it on their own, okay? And obviously there's also a resonance of people who resonate with this and who don't. So anyway, so that's what I was seeing. So there have been huge DNA upgrades, huge plasma light body upgrades. And one of the things, plasmas, you can feel hot and cold a lot. So you might be sweating one moment, the next like you're just freezing, although the heater is on, that kind of thing. So the plasmas are really what are re-encrypting our DNA, really the whole matter, all of matter, okay? Also the elementals, which make up matter. And they are really helping us through the aurora plasmas, and you know, which are interdimensional plasmas, and then also the solar plasmas that we know of, that are really helping us to activate the DNA, heal our light body, and bring this DNA strands online. And with these solar energies we had this week, we got a lot activated. It was intense, I know, but this was, you know, super purge, but also super upgrade. You know, we got through it. So now we're more able to, we're getting a little breather, but, you know, from that kind of DNA light body activation sequence that we had since Sunday, and a huge whiteout and cosmic consciousness reset where we were all a bit offline, and we had a lot of headaches, a lot of nausea. I mean, I was just so nauseous, so headachy, like for 3 days. And then what I saw was really a pole flip, which I say is mainly a shift within the energetics collectively, which I observed, of the victim-victimizer, of that just dissolving of the victims claiming back their power, and then also totally dissolving the whole dynamic. So it was, and this is happening, first of all, energetically, but this is connected to the poles of the earth, okay? It's all a reflection of consciousness in the end of the day. Everything we see, okay? Everything is thought, ultimately. So I see it as we shift the poles inside of no more victim-victimizer, which is the distorted polarity. That's the old grid current, okay? We balance our own poles and then have the eternal God source life flow return again, obviously with all the other stuff we feel, okay? DNA, light body, all of the stuff. All right, it's all obviously a combination of a lot of hard work and labor, as we know. But, you know, it's easier now for people to pick up the codes. This is why we're doing it. This is why we're doing the activations. You know, people are picking the stuff up even if they're not doing anything. It's at soul level, okay? It's like I used to walk the grids before I even know any of this stuff. We all do. We all, as humans, anchor frequency and codes and all of this. And a lot of this is in the unconscious. You know, we obviously have a lot of unconscious here. But this is going to come online now as I see it, okay? Because that's the awakening, making the unconscious conscious. That's also the divine feminine energy, okay? Bringing this all up to be seen. But it has to happen with a lot of compassion. Otherwise, there's trauma. We don't need any more trauma, okay? So we're bringing in the higher perspective of that. And we embody this by understanding ourselves. This is why I'm bringing, these are instruction sets for the consciousness of helping you to understand, not by changing any facts as such, just shifting the way we look at it. And as we shift the way we look at things, the things we look at change. That's the quantum observer effect, okay? And that's what we're here for. Because we cannot resolve this if we keep in victim mode and keep reiterating that this group is doing that to us, and we, doing it from a victim perspective of blame and shaming and how can you, the demonizing. It's an energetic. It doesn't mean we do not make them responsible. Okay? There's a difference. You can make people responsible without judging and demonizing them. Doesn't matter who or what it is. And that's the important part of saying, this is not okay, but we don't do it from fighting or, you know what I mean? We don't do it from a energetic that's resisting or fighting anything. We're doing it from total sovereignty and owning our power, that this is my sovereign energy field. And I reclaim my sovereignty. That's the power you have. If you think anything can hinder you from activating your DNA or light body, then you're giving your power away and you're in victim mode. If you think they have more power over the timelines than we have, I mean, this is long gone. We are in charge of the timelines. It's just for us to remember. That's what I'm here for, to remind you of that. And I'm not trying to convince you, as always. Take what resonates, leave the rest. But I'm also playing with it, okay? Because it's a little bit of tickling people. So we play with it, okay? We play with the ego. And it's very important that we do wake up, because if we think that the masters are giving their power away, we haven't fully reclaimed it, as I said yesterday, and we need to reclaim it. And you can quantum jump very quickly right now. From one moment to the next, everything can change. That's how everything ever, all change ever happens. Might be a long lead up to it, but then you're done. From one moment to the next. And that's where we're at now, in the blink of an eye. Because even though it seems, and that's another thing, because it seems like nothing is really changing like the way we want it to, for a long time, just imagine it's like this whole build-up, it's like a big elastic, and it's just going to be, pew. And that's the time thing I also seen. I posted early on underneath in the comment underneath my last video of Terence McKenna on time, the time acceleration. Look it up on Google. I think we all know Terence McKenna. And it's called time acceleration, because that's what's going on. Look it up. So don't think in linear time. It's a frequency. Realign with it through our embodiment. Okay? So DNA, plasma light body, huge activations this week. Wasn't comfortable. Huge purge. As I said, the new collective God consciousness operating and broadcasting system comes online. Now taking over the old artificial hive mind and mind control net. Okay, this is all dissolved. We have been working on this crap. Okay, so this is taking over now. It takes a moment to, integrate. Okay, but this is a lot what we felt with what was going on. I mean, there were also pineal and pituitary activations and so forth, but also it was this reconnection to that new neural network. So, and this is then, we are becoming the broadcasting systems through our DNA into the collective consciousness of the Christ consciousness. We are activating them, okay? And yes, even those that took the, okay, I'm not saying, this is beyond, are you giving that shit that much power actually? Sorry, I don't. The human body is so intelligent, and did you know that as soon as you, put like a poison into your body, that you're, into your mouth, that your body already starts to come up with an antidote by itself, because that's, the immune system, obviously, which we know is very important, okay? And yes, not everybody is choosing this, but a lot of us, okay? So just don't give that stuff more power. That's what they want, all right? Remember the placebo and nocebo effect. And I might talk about this more in detail another time, if we still need to. So basically what I'm seeing is the matrix imploding. It's the consciousness, the mass psychosis, because the house of cards, nothing makes sense. And I mean, we've seen this a long time, that the pieces don't connect. And yes, we've seen that people still don't want to see, but ultimately it's just, we also need to stop trying to convince anyone, the energetic again, of us being exasperated with the ones that can't see, non-cognitive dissonance. That's what we need to let go of. So if we can do this and just know what's happening now, that's the energy and frequency that this happens at, okay? Not when we are still judging and resisting and trying to fight or convince anyone. We're not here to convince anyone. We're just here to speak our truth and stand in that sovereignty. As I'm saying, I'm not here to make you believe in anything. I'm just here to speak my truth, and if it resonates, great. If it doesn't. And not everything has to resonate either. Pick those bits that does and leave the rest. So, it's Ascension codes that are activated now, coming in with this Ascension portal, and the coordinates for the Ascension unlock from within us. So, as I said yesterday, ask what you are supposed to do in order to make this happen. My answer came today with this video. So I answered my call, I did my bit, and then obviously the activation. So that's what I'm being shown, is my part to play. And everything we do and our being is this and affects all, as I said yesterday, okay? So it's everything that you are every 30 seconds, not just when you're talking to other people or in a specific mood or doing something specific, okay? I think that makes sense, because it's the emanation again. You can be a cleaner on the street or of toilets, and if you do it with pride and you do it in a great way and you're a great person with a great family, oh my God, I have so much, wouldn't you look up upon that person much more than some greedy millionaire who makes his money by basically, walking over people? You get me, okay? Because this is what we need to embody, this pride of, because it doesn't matter what we're doing even, it's about who are we being whilst we are doing whatever we are doing. I always strongly believe in that. And it's an emanation. It's a frequency we hold, okay? And everything is this. And this is how we are the broadcasting station of that new consciousness. And this is, we are God Source embodied. And this is what we're here to bring forth, our own unique fractal expression of that, of course. So I did say also, the Lightbody activation, so you can feel yourself becoming very light. I would really advise you to really lie down or become, where you can really relax and tune into your body and your cells and really communicate with this. Try to activate it. This is all very, speak to your DNA and your cells and your light, but really feel into it. Make that really intimate connection for your heart and for your soul with God, with your bodies, with your soul, with your higher identities. Okay, this is how I do it, at least. It's, intuitive. So really make that connection, and that's also how you're going to access your gifts and abilities. As I said yesterday, removing entities, for example, came to me in a moment. It's like as if you would be left in a car and the car is rolling and all of a sudden you remember that you can drive, okay, kind of thing. And we can all do this because we came here as the exorcists. We just forgot all these things. And of course, we all have specific gifts and abilities, as we say, that our strength, particular strength, and we might tweak it in a certain way, or, it's, a niche we're really looking after. That's where our gifts and abilities can be expressed. It's usually something we've already picked up. It's, for example, I used to be in sales and used to do presentations to people. I didn't even know what I was really speaking about. But at least I could learn how to be more confident, and that now helps me make these videos, and I don't have to work so much on getting over myself and my, whatever worries of how I come across or so forth. So anyway, so all these things we've picked up maybe in other jobs, so they will all come together. And also they come online for your multidimensional DNA activation. All of a sudden you just remember doing something, and we also become more powerful in what we're already doing. So the healing work we're doing or whatever it may be. I'm already seeing this. I can feel it. It's becoming way more powerful. So there was a lot of powerful electrical energy running through us. So as I said, earthing is really good. Feet on the grass, for example, or put it in warm salt water. That's also good for letting it run through. Run the energy through you, move your body, showers, salt baths, water is always great. And obviously a lot of water. Also pH high level water is really good because it helps us crystallize as well. Okay, it helps with the ionization process, similar like what the solar energy also does to the planet. But that's why, sea air or water is really good also for other health benefits, but it's really good for the crystallization process, as it's helping us ionizing. So what I said on Sunday, which was the 2nd, there was this full whiteout and full reclamation of the Vatican Stargate site. And it was really what I'm seeing is also as the Divine Mother energies are coming back so powerfully. It's really like, I see this as like blue-white priestess type beings, okay, that are like they're in a type of Lotus Buddha position above these Stargate sites, hovering. They're like literally like the Mother's Army. That's how I'm being shown them, okay? And they're just like, wow, that presence, that energy that's coming through, the Divine Mother energies, and that's another thing, it holds and it heals all of its creations, okay? Because the Mother Arc, the Blu-ray Mother Arc, it's really the mother source codes that come through it, and it really also helps to it's all the way from source that it really helps anchor the frequencies and energies, and it helps heal the mother's energy, helps heal the creations back to its perfection, and it helps to heal the blueprint. And especially, as I said, with the feminine codes I spoke about earlier on, it's within the mitochondrial DNA as well that it represents for us here. So this is obviously a big thing. The Vatican, you have 3, it's called the Unholy Trinity, okay? And these are the 3, what are they called? Not the spires, the obelisks. That's St. Peter's Square, Vatican. And there's one London Bridge, not London Bridge, just at London Embankment. That's the Egyptian thing that they ferried over. I looked into that once. Oh. And then there's one in Washington. Okay, so these make up the Unholy Trinity. And this is taken back. So, especially the Vatican side, I was, I've been working on this before, and I know other people as well. It's obviously huge. I saw a huge release from the children also through this, the abused children, and I was writing about this. So there was a huge release around all of this. And that's why also I think it was really rough this week. Because a lot of this is also being felt. I mean, there's generally, the big theme is return of the souls that have been stuck here, clearing out the entities and negative aliens and so forth. And then also, a soul retrieval, which is also represents of walk-ins or higher DNA strands activating. Okay, it can come in different forms. So this is the big theme, and it's been vastly accelerated over the last few months. So this is also one part of that. Obviously, there's so many different operations and things that are happening, and really quantum style, and might not be much happening kind of in our reality, it seems, but on a quantum level, we're very busy. Okay, like there's a lot happening. So, and this will become visible in the right moment. We will know about it. Okay, so there was then this whole whiteout, which I saw at cosmic level, that was connected to the clearing of the Vatican site and the release of these souls of these children. And there was also more protection coming in for the children in general on this planet at this time. And that was then followed up between. So the reset really lasts between Sunday and Tuesday. That's what I saw. And then it ended really with the 33-hour Schumann resonance blackout. And I already saw before, as I said, this whiteout happening and this reset. And this was really just another confirmation of that. And yeah, as I said, Tuesday and Thursday, I could really feel the new blueprint and plasma body light test run as it was as it came up with my consciousness as a confirmation. So there's loads of vibrations, electrical energy, all coming online. I could really feel and see it all. It's just like your physical eyes can't. And that's actually a really important part, okay? Because if you come in with realism and we can't see all of this yet, all right, it's because also, next to many other reasons, that we can only see a very small spectrum of light in reality, our physical eyes. Science is also telling us that fact, okay? So we cannot see, the dimensions are all around us. We're not going anywhere, okay? It's us tuning into the right frequency, as many of us know. And also there are changes happening to our eyes, and we are that prism, we're the projector of these realities. And as this all comes online through the DNA film strip, okay, we will project the new realities out there as all of these holographic layers and everything has already collapsed and removed. It's just that this will come in at the perfect now moment of total purification of that artificial insert overlay. So we can't see those realities, okay? It's like there's a filter in front at the moment. That's the best way. That's how we talk about the veils, okay? That's why when somebody tells me it's not reality, but this is the fakest reality of them all. That's just how I see it, okay? I'm not telling you for you to see it, all right? So that's why we have to go within to see the truth, and out there is the dream. It really is. That's all I can say to that. And I'm not here to convince anyone. So also through the light body, it equals perfect health eventually. And this is also us youthing, rejuvenating, regenerating. Some days, you know, we feel like, especially when so much is clearing, like death warmed up, as I call it. On other days, you feel like, I've youth 10 years, you know, and it goes a little bit forth and back. But ultimately, it's really for us to reclaim all of that. And know that I talk to my body. I ask it to, one of the things I do when I do my own clearing, and that's what we all can do, okay? It's like, give it a command to produce more stem cells and growth hormones in the perfect amount for your body to help it rejuvenate, regenerate, and youth. You can do this with hormones, oxytocin, DMT. Try it out. You need to be in the right frequency of believing it. I also know, that's just one of the things I'm here to do. I work with the DNA and blueprint. I re-encrypt it, as I said. So what I'm here to do, my life purpose, is to persevere the correct codes, DNA, and clear out that which we don't need. And that's why when I get these downloads of what the right consciousness is, which is basically Christ consciousness teachings, the law of one, I communicate that. And I will find more ways of how to do this maybe better, more organized. But this is part of my purpose and ability, okay? And we can do this again in many different ways. So as the light body is coming online, these flu symptoms, which also somebody asked yesterday, that's usually your body. It's really like detoxifying itself, okay? Frequency light upgrades, you shed in a way, okay? All the toxins that you don't need anymore. And the light body activations for me feel different because it's more, you literally feel like light. You feel, I can't feel it in my body anymore. It's just a knowing, an inner knowing, but it's not flu. That's not the same. But the frequency light upgrades, the flu will help you to shed that, which is, then helping you to activate, because we need to clear the stuff we don't need to activate that which is good for us, okay? Our multidimensional DNA, the right keys and codes. But we need to clear, make space for that, which is why it's all, in my work, for example, I clear, upgrade, and activate. It's all of these things, okay? But you need to do the whole thing, really. Now, there were also powerful upgrades to our 3 power centers. So that's really the third eye, heart area, and then the solar plexus. Now, solar plexus, of course, we, are really stepping into our power, and that's really coming online. I talked about the head activations, heart, high heart. That's our Stargate. We are the Stargate, okay? You don't need to go anywhere. You are it. It's your heart. That's the key. And so really feel into this. Can you feel your power rising? Self-confidence is the key. I spoke about this yesterday, the same as believing in our gifts and abilities. And know that we have immense worth and importance. That is us, once that really clicks, us claiming our birth. It's a frequency. And this is when the abundance comes online. When we are here now to claim our guardianship of Earth and our abundance back, which is our inherent birthright. We need to claim it. It's a frequency. You need to believe it. I'm just here to remind you, if it resonates. But it's from deep within, okay? It's not about proclaiming anything. It's a frequency you come from. This is beyond words, ultimately. But I'm here to communicate, a lot of things. So that's just my job. So really claiming that is what unlocks everything, and it really unlocks our power. So that's why I keep going on about it, because this is all about us reclaiming our power, our keys and codes. That's what brings everything online. We need to do this. It doesn't come just to us, okay? We make it happen. And that's how we merge with our future self. By claiming that. All these gifts and abilities of your multidimensional self. So, as I said before, at the moment, many people are faced with maybe fears around survival. In the end, we have to transcend that if we want to ascend. Okay, and I've been through many intestine trials, and ultimately they help us transcend. So whatever's triggering you, it's ultimately there to help you. Really is. And if you can keep seeing that and keep shifting your perspective instead of fighting it to see the benefits and the blessings, you will move much quicker through these tests and initiations, because these are how you activate your DNA. You need to pass them. It's a fail-safe. You can't get around it. Okay? So you need to embody it in order to activate your 12-strand DNA, which is the virtues of Christ consciousness and all these different attributes of these 12 rays and beyond. I hope that makes sense. So we also need to, part of that fear that still keeps us in a fear matrix, so fear of job or not being able to feed ourselves, okay, if you know that you're always supported by God, I'm not saying you need to, you have to, but I can recommend transcending those fears, because they're literally false evidence appearing real. Because once you jump and you trust, you will be shown that you're carried and that you're supported. Because the rest is illusion. Because the fear matrix is telling you need to do this and that in order to survive. It's a program. It really is. Okay? And right now we're quantum leaping and we're creating new programs. So it's not just creating, it's reactivating them. That's the Christ consciousness part. So part of that fear is also anger, shame, guilt. So alchemize this into wisdom, transcend it. It's not about not feeling shame, judgment, or any of these things. Feel it, but go beyond it and transcend it and alchemize it, okay? Because whenever we, for example, judge someone or get triggered by someone, they are embodying something we still need to integrate, okay? They're a mirror for us to see what do I still have to accept and integrate as part of the one consciousness. We unify with all. This is the great I am at one-ment, which is Ascension, which if we want to do that, that's what we have to do. It's not fun. I can judge and get triggered, and I know I am. I go with it. Can even have a judge fest, but I know what I'm doing. I'm simultaneously conscious and just get the energy up and out, because that's what it ultimately wants to do. And I transcend it and I see, because I know in that moment, it's something I'm still doing or I used to do, isn't it? Even if I don't want to see it, okay, but I keep going until it's released. And then it's like, okay. And then you reach a frequency where it's like, okay, I can see now. All right, and then you just release it. And that's when you transcend into judgment. But it doesn't mean that you can't get triggered. For example, if somebody does something wrong, tell them. Discernment is where we want to be at. Judgment is a different energetic. All right, and that keeps us in separation. So I hope that makes sense. And this is what we need to let go of if you want to transcend the 3D matrix, because it's based in separation and fear programming. And that's what, if you're still buying into that and resonating with that, you will keep being connected to that through it, because it's a frequency. What realities you vibrate with and have open to you is via your frequency. If you keep focusing on things that make you angry and so forth, you will find more things that will make you feel angry and frustrated. I promise you. So where we put our focus is key. Doesn't mean that we ignore anything. All right, we do not ignore anything, but we play with it. Because once you can see it as a challenge, something to overcome, a test initiation, it gets a bit easier. It doesn't mean you need to enjoy, the uncomfortable parts in life, but it becomes easier and we navigate through it, because you remember you're the avatar in a game. Okay, and you just want to get to the next level. So don't take it personally and remember who you are. That's how we win the game. Once you know you're in the game, and then you win. So, yeah, and we also had powerful elemental clearing, again, changing matter into higher states of vibration. So there's also, negative interference in black magic that happened with the elementals. So this is also clearing. So we're all made up of the elementals. So fire, earth, which is then crystal, okay? So carbon to crystal. Then water, air, and ether. Okay, and especially ether has been messed with a lot. So I've been working with that a lot. And basically, it's also what we will see as this clears, we will see less and less pollution. It's also, again, reflected in our own levels of toxification in our body. Yeah. So again, if we clear our body, we also have the planet clear. It's all reflective. All of us humans make together up the planetary body. So what we do to our body and how we treat it has an effect on everyone. So all matter is really purifying at all levels. And one thing, for example, what I do in my own energy healing, sessions, when I work with the planetary body, again, when I work with my body, I know I work with the whole planetary body. I know I work on behalf of the whole of humanity. That's just what I knew for years, before I knew anymore. And we all do this to different degrees, okay? I just know this is a big focus of mine. So I've been focused for many hours a day for many years to do my energy work on myself and on that level. And what I do is, for example, I make a intention that I also purify every particle of food and every molecule of water throughout the planet. You can also do throughout time and space. These are all intentions. Once you understand how powerful that is, that's how we create these new realities. Because ultimately, everything is built of thought. This is all in the mind. That's where we get to change it. So that's why, that's where we go. And our belief systems are ultimately our only limits. Now, again, it's not about us from some distorted ego will perception trying to create worlds that are not in alignment, with everyone and the law of one. It's a co-creation. It's, like anything I do, it's just, I get into, I get inspiration. The messages come in and I just have to do it. It's like, otherwise, the messages keep coming in and won't leave me alone, basically. So it's like that. And this is where we want to be, because it's, again, the embodiment through God Source consciousness that then lets us create in the image of God, or, within that consciousness, in alignment with that consciousness, beautiful things, not distorted, unharmonic realities, as we know it. So, but this is about our emanation. So we can't, come into, let's say, harmonious relationships with other people if, we're not in harmony within ourselves. Ultimately, there will always something be triggered. Of course, the people can work on it together, but you get me, okay, ultimately. So we have to shift as a consciousness for obviously all of this to work. And we make this happen through our own inner work, okay? Every time we break through a limiting program, okay? And again, this is not about creating, something from ego, but in alignment with inspiration, and that is going forward more for co-creation also with other people from our own soul group, and there are going to be many exciting things happening. So far, I also believe that hasn't happened as much because you can just not create in this fake reality. It wasn't, first of all, there was a lot of interference, which I mentioned before, but also because it's just, it's been obviously so influenced by black magic and interference in the way the systems run. You're not supposed to succeed, if that makes sense, okay? Or they made it very hard unless you literally try to start selling your soul. Not obviously for everyone, okay? But I'm just saying, generally speaking, and I think we all know this. So this is why also a lot of our manifestations and projects just haven't been able to work or go forward, because this is not the right reality to do them in, all right? So know that in divine alignment, it's all coming now. So keep aligning with the frequency that it's all coming together now. That this is our time, but we need to claim it. And this is the purpose of my video, okay? We need to claim our worth. We need to claim our gifts and abilities, which equals our power. And this is how we shift the realities. We cannot do this from sitting there waiting, or not waiting, the thinking that, something is going to happen. We are making it happen by believing it. It's a frequency that enough of us reach, the 100 monkey effect happens, and the whole consciousness gets affected. The new virus, Christ consciousness, it is here. Hallelujah. That's what I'm seeing, okay? Big white ascension portal open. Join the activation if you like. Divine Mother is back, okay? She's here, and she's healing all of her creations. And men and women alike are her. This is not about gender. All right, we are all of these. We are the Trinity. Divine Mother, Child, Father. That is who we are. All needs to be unified. That's the Trinity, okay? The 0 point field. And this is where we're at now today. Energetically, tune into this. Probably had some more. I'm just looking through my more notes. I want to now cut this because although, we go as long as, you can always pause and stop, come back later. I mean, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to quickly look at the notes in case there was something else that might be of benefit to hear for others. Also, it already said, so a lot of AI apps not functioning, crashing down, keep having that. So a lot of malfunctioning happening there. And oh yeah, what I didn't say earlier on about the mass psychosis, how the matrix is imploding itself, it really is. It's the light, it's the truth coming out. People who don't even want to see, okay, you really don't want to see, it's just no choice, okay? It's like the reckoning is here. You cannot choose anymore not to see. I've been shown this. So, but it's just part of the awakening. So the more we can let go, and the more we just know, they're awakening now, in divine perfect timing, the quicker it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Because there's an energetic push-pull from us who get exasperated with the people who are not seeing and not getting it. It's like, yeah, it's that time now. That's the frequency where it happens from, okay? Now, we can't force that frequency, okay? But I'm just saying that's where I'm at, because I've also been frustrated, of course, with it. So, but now I can see it's happening, all right? But it's like there's a lot of patience, of course, yeah? But ultimately, it's nothing in the grand scheme of things and time speaking. So, patience, know it's all coming to you. That's the frequency. Stay in the flow, in the now moment. Stay in that frequency. Everything is done. It's coming to me. Although, again, we still make it happen in every now moment by keep listening to our inner guidance and navigation system and any, like me, I mean, getting the messages of what I need to do and do it. Okay, trust your soul. Go for your intuition, your inner navigational system, because it's your soul speaking to you, trying to tell you how to align with your future self and these realities. Yeah, you need to listen, you need to be quiet. That's why it's so important not to be, too much focused on the outside, especially now, but more on the inside of what's happening there within your body, or bodies, and also within your consciousness, what's coming online there in the downloads and remembering. Because the more we do, same as me, the more I then transmit, the more keeps coming through. Otherwise, I create a bottleneck. So it all has purpose, and we keep activating each other, okay? So this is the time of remembering. This is the time of reclamation of all of our keys and codes, of all of our power, of all of our soul pieces and aspects, all of our multidimensional self. Now, do you see that frequency? Can you feel it? And that's the frequency where you're calling it back from. Purified and healed. We can all do this. There's not just one technique to do this. And yes, it's bit by bit. I'm doing this for many years, but ultimately it's a frequency. And the things and gifts and abilities you remember. Okay, but you can all call back your soul pieces. If not you, who then? You are having full sovereignty over your energy body. That frequency is what you need to embody. Okay? Because getting rid of the entities and so forth is part of your initiations, quite frankly. I know how hard it is. When I spoke yesterday about also, I wanted to add about 3 years in bed with, pains and everything, I thought it was only Ascension. I mean, it's part of, but what it also was a lot of psychic attacks. I've had so much interference. I can write a few books about this. So, and I know many of us can, because obviously on purpose. Yeah, but it's part of our training, because ultimately through the bullies and all of this, we learn to step into our power, because we have given it away along the line. It's been taken from us, but we also let it happen. It's both, and we're no victims here. So we cannot play in a role, and we cannot play in the stories anymore that say the negative aliens have done this to us, which they have, but not from this place of blame, shame, place. It needs to be from, this was not okay, all right, but now I know what to do, because now it's a frequency, because we're going back to that timeline before the invasion really happened, because now we know how to react it. We weren't prepared, okay? And we're going back to the timeline where we now know, with what we've learned, of how, to avoid that scenario. Because we just weren't, we weren't expecting this, let's put it that way. I hope that makes sense. I'm not speaking too much in riddles before going into that in too much more detail. Because it's, again, I see this more as, it's like a story you tell to your child in order for them to understand certain, morals, you know, teachings within a story. And that's really what they're all about. I'm not really focused on the stories as such. It's more the archetypal symbology behind of what is representing all of it. Okay. So obviously massive influx of multicolored diamond rainbow plasma streaming in, new light frequency bands, new frequency, and that means new frequency realities. Okay, again, realities are made out of color and sound as the new colors and sounds, the corrected ones, okay, from the 144 plus 1 strands of golden crystalline DNA come in, all of these subharmonics of DNA. This then also creates the new reality, not creates, activates. And again, it's also connected through what we are able to see. At the moment, we can't see everything. Please keep remembering that. So when you ask for signs, keep remembering it. You cannot see. That's why we need to feel and go within. Now, I think that was it. Oh yeah, so my thing about the whiteout that was on, that also took our brain offline a lot. Next to the headaches and nausea, it was literally, you know, you kind of, it was a lot of clarity at times, but then also it's just quickly gone. It seems to be a bit more stable now at the moment. But do look for confirmation maybe also of people like how they are shifting and changing now, okay? Because there should be some shifts already starting to be a little bit visible, all right? And as I said, massive clearing of holographic inserts and false memories data, which that is connected to, because again, the data and the information equals realities as well. The memories, okay, equals certain realities. And a lot of this has been, again, also inserted in false memories, all right, what these realities are based upon. And that's also why the Mandela effect, you know, when all of a sudden facts in the past change, this is where we're going. This is where, you know, we're going to just be remembering a different past. I was talking about this yesterday. And there was also the karmic load that has been redirected from the NAA to star seeds, and humanity through black magic has now been returned. So there was also a thing going on that we were picking up the karmic load, and that's why also these groups have been getting away without really reaping karmic rewards. Well, that time is over, thankfully, no more. And everybody has to carry their own shit now. That's still, you know, left. But ultimately, I know, like, it's done for most people. This is, like, done now. Because also karma is related to these old timelines and the old realities, which we are fully clearing now. And these false, you know, inserted timelines and realities and memories, okay? But we have to clear it up, obviously. And we have done a huge load, but we could have ultimately gone on forever if it would have stayed that way. So there's a clear split happening on that level as we're clearing out all these lower hybrid codings as well, because it's all interconnected with our DNA in the end as well. So as I said, at the moment, so as these artificial holographic realities fall and dissolve rapidly now, we will really see that glitches in the matrix more and more. I know it's like, you know, there will be this point, I feel really, over the next couple of days where we will feel a big shift on these things becoming more of a reality. I do believe what I'm feeling into, as I'm saying, Ascension is here now. This is a big Ascension portal. I'm not putting this down on any dates, but today till the 11th, super amplified, okay? So tune into your body, tune into your activation if you want to. It's already open. Yeah, that's all I can say. One of the things is you are expected to make a energetic exchange towards the activation. If you really can't, that's fine, okay? I don't want anyone to have any problems with this or bad feelings, all right? But I also need the ones who can to make donations, okay? This is not just a free thing, all right? I hope that makes sense, because people do wonder and, you know, ask these things. Oh yeah, and since the 6th, I can see, and I mentioned this yesterday, my heart center, the crystalline heart rose, like a big stargate now. And it's really like 360 degrees every time I tune in. It's just huge all around me. And I can, as I see happening this at planetary level. This is the Ascension portal. And the heart is the key. At the planetary level, the crystal core, because this is also connected to the magnetic shift and the grid coming online and the pole shift, all interconnected. Okay, you can look this up on Ascension glossary if you want to do some, digging there as well a little bit. Because it's all interconnected also to the solar energies, which are weakening the magnetosphere right now. All right, so saw another report on this today. So our hearts are the stargate. So us activating the our own stargates, which I know is online now, okay? It's online within the planet, that's what I'm seeing. We are making it happen for as many as want to join, and for the planetary body, okay? That's what's available right now. That's what I'm seeing. All right, so that's why I'm here to share. So I think that was finally it. Oh yeah, just one more thing. Earlier in the week, it was really about like neutralizing. Like I could see there was so many tests coming up, and there was a lot of multidimensional integration happening. So just around the new year, around the 1st, before the Sunday, the 2nd. And there was a lot of multidimensional integration happening. I could really see it. I was really good in managing and integrating it all. And I could see a big integration, like a test. It was really a test again. I had my daughter staying with me and cooking and all of these different things. So, and that was going quite well until after, until the Sunday kind of, then a big purge started to happen. And then things became a little bit more tense. But we also need to have to let that be okay, because it's just a lot of... I first of all needed to neutralize. So first of all, everything was going well, but then I was becoming kind of angry mother again, and I was really tired, and it just didn't go so well as I wanted it to. And I also, there's this pressure of wanting to have a good time with her because she lives mostly with her dad. I don't get to see her that often. I'd, like to live closer to her. Anyway, so there's this pressure. I want to make it good, and then obviously the huge super purge comes. But I had to let it be okay. It can't always be perfect. I had to let that old me that came up one more time just neutralize, okay? But then as the shift happened over the days that followed, okay, it was really on a Tuesday, as I said, the pole shift then, which was like, first of all, neutralizing all of the shitness of this reality, okay? And then it was like, okay, this is it. No more. I've neutralized it. I've lifted. I had enough. This doesn't come from resistance. This is not fighting anything. This is just me knowing, now it's enough. I'm not going to be a scapegoat anymore. I'm not going to be the crazy person anymore. This is our time of recognition and rewards. And I just knew it was happening, but it was a frequency I was embodying in that moment. Now, it's not about me making it happen. It just comes in as well. It's an activation. It works, simultaneously. So that's what I said, or trying to explain more what this pole shift means for me, which was really it was a total shifting out of the last bit of victim consciousness and just equalizing the poles. So it was no more anyone doing anything to me, but I was also calling, like, I really had to run the next day of like just getting all this stuck anger I think I still had, from people not treating me well over the last few years especially, and unfairly, quite frankly. And I just had to get it up and out because I needed to. We need to bring that anger up and out. And I could see how much, and I wrote about this, how much of an excuse I make for people all the time, because I understand, and that's my job here, to understand the consciousness. Why are people the way they are? But this then also can lead to you keep excusing people for their bad behavior. And again, it's a frequency. So on a level, I was excusing, this was directed at my ex in that moment. I have, on a frequency level, allowed him to make me the scapegoat because I understood why he's doing it. I got why he needed to go through this whole ego nonsense, whatever, okay, through the breakup and so forth. But ultimately, I also allowed him that, just at a frequency level. Never mind what you say, he would be master on not listening to me and so forth, not giving me an answer. So anyway, I had a run fest telepathically. I told him what I think, because the messages don't get answered. So anyway, I got it up and out. And then when I was finished with it, it was also okay. Because I know it's not from blame, okay? It's not from how could he. I understand why he's doing it. But I was also making excuses for him. So I had to just get rid of that anger, which I had a right to feeling, okay? Don't discount the anger. That is actually helping you shift. It's a great catalyst for shift. So anyway, but I could see I was also allowing it at a frequency level for the story to continue, because I was buying into it and making excuses for him. And in that moment when I brought up all that anger, it was really like telling the field and him telepathically, not okay anymore. All right? Not okay. And we're not going to go into details of what, yeah, blah, 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 but you get me. It was just a frequency shift of, okay, we're done now with that story. And from now on, this will be different, because ultimately it's a frequency thing. Like, you can say things, you know, I've had enough and all of this stuff, but ultimately it's what the frequency is, you know, that you're sending out that will bring certain situations to you. So if somebody, for example, disrespects you, it's for you to actually embody more respect for yourself, that then shifts your frequency, and you will not come up with situations anymore where people disrespect you. Because it doesn't need to come up in your reality. Because it only comes up in your reality for you to adjust your own frequency and template and thought patterns, if that makes sense, okay, within your own consciousness. So I needed to adjust the way I was making excuses for people just because I understand them, instead of just going like, this is not okay, but not from an angry, defensive place. So I needed to just get it up and out, and then I could come back to 0 point, where I canceled out the polarity of that situation. And it was just like, that's not great, but I also know what I didn't do great, because I also allowed it, quite frankly. So this is your part, this is my part, even if he wasn't listening, okay? But at least in my field, which is the important part, it's cleared now. And I don't think I will have the problem again. I know this from experience. It really works like this. It's all about the frequency you're admitting. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, because casting blame, it's just going to keep us in victim mode. And we just have to really step out of this. And again, it's like making people responsible and accountable starts with us, but also others. It's very important. And that's the shift now. Because if we let people get away with crimes, let's say, you know, of different kinds, we are enabling them. And that's what has to stop. And I could see in that moment, I was enabling it on a frequency level. And I know what that means in the field, because I know my responsibility of the frequency I hold in my template. So I know everything I do is, you know, important. So I needed to adjust my own template. And that's where I could feel a pole shift in the field of that whole victim-victimizer just totally, you know, dissolving the last bit, and the polarity is coming to the Trinity. And this is rolling out now. I can feel it, because ultimately this is what's keeping us in the polarities, this victim-victimizer thing. And we cannot be in victimizer mode and reclaim the guardianship of this planet, our gifts and abilities, our freedom, our abundance, and our sovereignty. It's happening from within us. And as we shift, the people around us shift. It's all about the frequency, the same as New Earth. It's projected from within us out into the reality, and the masses are part of that consciousness. It's just that we are more conscious of it. So never worry about what they're doing or not doing. It's about what we are doing, okay? Just believe in your own visions. Like pioneers and visionaries have been said they're crazy and, you know, from the people stuck in their old ways, but they're here to bring the change. And we really, you know, have to believe in ourselves, because if we don't, we can't reclaim the keys and the codes and the power that we need in order to make this happen and get this job done now. So I leave you with this. Just having a quick look at the messages. Tree of Life, yeah, I see it as a cosmic quantum tree of life. It's all reclaimed. The keys and codes, at a, you know, planetary blueprint level, and for humanity, it's reclaimed. It's literally in a reassembling and activation stage, if that makes sense. Yeah, so it's done. It's done. Done. We're done. So, just a question of divine timing. Be part of the activation if you want to. It's a powerful field. Every time we create quantum leaps and ripples in the time-space continuum, and let's see how far we can, you know, ascend this time. So, loads of love. Thank you so much for your support in all ways. I hope you're all doing okay. And thank you for being here now, keeping the vision. And you know, it really is like our imagination is the limit. So, you know, just, I mean, who's the one dreaming anyway? Who is the one thinking anyway? It's God and your soul dreaming and thinking through you. Okay? So, loads of love, many blessings. Bye-bye.